course, the day you try and demonstrate drive assist, there's not one bad driver in LA. My bad! What's up, guys and gals? Welcome to What's New Teguh. I'm your host, Chris Teguh with Alpine, and we're here to talk about what's new. Now, before we get started, if it's your first time with us and you haven't done it yet, be sure to subscribe to Alpine TV and turn on notifications so you can be the first to see all the latest content from yours truly and the rest of the Alpine team. So today, we're checking out a new product in a whole new category from Alpine of America, the DVR C320R dash camera with super night vision and drive assist. Now, between you and me, I've never owned a dash cam, so I'm pretty excited to dig in and share all of my newbie dash cam experiences with all of you. So sit back and join me on this dash cam venture. No? Fine. So what's a dash cam, right? Well, basically, it's a camera that you install on your windshield that records what's in front of you while you're driving. There's specialized cameras that continuously record while the car is on, and it's all stored on an SD card. The footage can then be used for insurance claims, security footage, or heck, even be the next viral video. Now, Alpine offers two dash cams in their lineup. The DVR C320R is the step-up model to the DVR C310R. Be sure to check out Alpine Brooks' video to get an inside look on that product. See what I did there? So let's talk about some of the features. It's a dual camera system that records in full HD 1080p on both cameras simultaneously, which not a lot of cameras in our industry can do. The camera itself can be angled in 11 positions depending on the angle of your windshield. So if you have a very vertical windshield like a Jeep Wrangler, there's an angle for that. The back, or front I guess, the back? Whatever, has all the controls on it so you can reach them from the driver's seat. There's a speaker, a mic button to enable or disable voice recordings. REC allows you to manually record. The power button obviously turns it on or off. There's a Wi-Fi button to connect to your phone, a format button to clear the memory card, and a couple status indicators for Wi-Fi and GPS. Yes, GPS. This device has a GPS antenna built right in to add location and speed information to your videos. It's also used with C320's standout feature, Drive Assist, which I'll show you guys firsthand when we get to the demo. There's a micro SD card slot on the side, which comes with a 32 gig card already loaded. Finally, it has a couple image enhancing features called HDR and Super Night Vision because, hey, the bad guys don't wait for daylight to mess with your car, am I right? The secondary camera can be mounted in the rear window if you're looking to take advantage of some of the drive assist features like rear collision warnings. Otherwise, you can mount it facing inside of your vehicle to monitor what's going on in the cab. Uber and Lyft drivers rejoice. Now let's head over to my car and take this thing for a spin. Welcome to my Civic. Fun fact, this is actually my wife's car that I commandeered and turned into an Alpine billboard. Sorry, hun. Anyways, the installation was super straightforward. The dash cam is actually offset from center. There's a third visor frit actually printed on the glass, so I had to avoid that. The secondary camera is center back and looking out. That way I can take advantage of some of the drive assist functions as well as monitor if anyone's a little too interested in my Halo subs. What's striking about the install is that it's super clean. None of the connections are made at the dash cam. They're all done after a 12-foot extension cable. So that's actually happening under my dash. All the controls are accessible by the driver, and the SD card is actually on the left. So when you're done and you want to back up your SD card, you can very easily touch it, take it out, and you're good to go. So this dash cam has two modes. Assuming you've connected it to the vehicle's power, you have access to parking mode. Now, parking mode works in three different ways, and the default way of it working is it's monitoring activity at all times, and basically if it detects any motion or impact, it'll actually capture 10 seconds before and then 10 seconds after that impact or motion. The second way is called time lapse. That records at 2 frames per second. So it's a little bit choppier, but it can take a lot of information for a long extended period of time and manage to keep it a very small file size. So if you're looking for full-time surveillance, time-lapse is the way to go. The final way is called energy savings mode. Now that only records on impact. So if the vehicle senses any type of impact, it'll record for 20 seconds. Let's get this thing up and running and I can show you how it works. So as it boots up, it'll actually warn you about any type of incidences that happen while the vehicle is off, and then tell you what mode it's in.
During parking mode. Motion detection recording. Event detection recording. Occurred. recording will now start.
I wonder what that was. All right, let's get this thing paired to the phone. So the first thing you do is press the Wi-Fi button.
On your smartphone, connect to a Wi-Fi network.
Now the app you're going to be using is called the Alpine Recording Viewer, and that's free and available on the App Store or Google Play. Now in order to pair it to it, you need to go into the settings of your phone, go to Wi-Fi, and look for a network called Alpine _ and then 2 unique characters depending on the camera you have. So mine's B4. So Alpine B4, and then we're going to go to the app and hit this button at the bottom.
Connected to a smartphone.
And it's as simple as that. So there's several things you can do to the dash cam using this app. There's going to be 3 that we're going to look at. First is live view. So in live view, it's going to look at what's happening in the front camera first, and then you can actually switch it to the rear. There's guidelines that you can pull up to help install the actual dash cam. I'm going to switch over to rear now so you can see what that looks like. My back glass is actually limo tinted, so the camera is capturing a pretty good amount of information even with that back tint. So I'm going to go back to the home screen and we're going to look at dash cam settings now. So within dash cam settings, there are several things you can do to personalize the dash cam to the way you want it to work. In the main system settings, you have volume control, security LED, as well as time zone. There's also recording settings which allow you to change whether your voice recording is on or off. You can change the sensitivity during parking mode of impact. You can change your super night vision, your HDR, several things, but really the cool thing here is the battery protection. So you can set what voltage the dash cam will sense before it turns off. So if for some reason the vehicle's power dips below 12 volt in this car, the dash cam will turn off and protect the battery. The last thing I want to show you guys is the file list. Now all the files and all the footage that's recorded is organized within several folders. Each folder indicates the type of recording it is. The standard recording is continuous while the vehicle's on. Within continuous, basically the camera is recording 1-minute increments and managing it from front and rear and naming it the date and time. And that's how you kind of look through this information. You can filter it by all, you can filter it by front, and you can filter it by rear. There's also different types of recordings, for example, parking incidences. So any type of impact or motion, it'll capture that and dump it here. All right. So that's basically how it works. Now, the smartphone is the main way you actually access the dash cam and its settings. There's actually another way. If you have a very specific Alpine head unit, it'll actually work as well. We'll talk about that more when we get back into the office. Let's get this thing on the road and I can show you some of the drive assist functions. So there are 4 drive assist functions that this dash camera has, and they're all controlled by the camera itself with warnings that come through on the speaker in the form of beeps. Now each of those functions can be adjusted for sensitivity, so you can have things more sensitive or you can turn it off completely if you wanted to. The first one I want to show you is lane departure. So if you're driving in a straight line and you happen to drift, it'll warn you with a beep. Hey, what's that? Oh. The second one is a forward collision warning. So if you are approaching a vehicle too quickly, it'll give you a warning as well. That was a very polite collision warning. Hey, you almost hit that guy. The third one is a back collision warning. So if somebody were to approach you too quickly from behind, it'll give you a warning. Whoa, whoa. Calm down back there. And the last feature is a vehicle departure warning, which means if you're stopped at a light and the car ahead of you goes and you happen not to, it'll give you a gentle reminder to get a move on. What should I do today? Oh, going. Alright, let's head back to the office and check out this footage. I'm going to use this SD card adapter that's included. So there are a few ways to actually view the footage that your dash cam has captured. And I showed you one way, which was through the smartphone app. Now the other way is to just look at the contents of the SD card. So on my computer here, I'm going to pull up the SD card. I've renamed it the DVR C320R. And you can see several folders that hold all the footage. They're all organized by the type of footage it is. You have the continuous recording folder, the event recording folder, and there's a manual recording folder, and a few other ones as well. Well, I'm going to go into manual recording just to show you guys kind of what it looks like. So I'm going to pull up some footage here. Here's one of my drives at night. And there you have it. It's very simple. Now, all of the files are named by date and time, so that can get a little bit hairy when you have a ton of footage there on the SD card. Now, luckily, we've actually included some software to help you navigate through some of your footage. And you can actually find it on the SD card, which is great. So there's two files there. There's the setup.exe, and that's basically the app for your PC. And if you have a Mac, we have you covered as well. So there's actually a DMG file to load the Mac version. So I'm going to pull up that just so you guys can see it. And there you go. Now, both apps look very similar. They're a little bit different, but they operate exactly the same way. So they have different tabs for the type of footage you have. There's all, continuous, motion. You can see the front camera here in the main part of the screen. You also have the rear up at the top right. You can switch those with these little arrows. They'll kind of flip-flop back and forth. If you have GPS locked in, you can actually see that map information here on the right, which is pretty cool. You have the speed information at the bottom. Don't mind the graffiti train that I selected here. So there's a very straightforward way of viewing the footage on your dash cam. All of this stuff can be backed up, so you can take the files and store them on your computer. That way you can make space for more footage in the future. Now, earlier I mentioned there were a few Alpine head units that could work directly with the DVR C320R. That's the X308U on version 1.4, the INE W987HD on version 1.4, and the ILX207 on version 6. Now, assuming you don't have a Maestro connected, you can connect the DVR C320R to any of those head units. While the parking brake's engaged, you're able to see what's happening on both cameras and have access to change settings, as you would on a smartphone. Be sure to look out for more compatibility as new Alpine radios hit the market. Well, there it is, guys. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you get a chance, hit up your nearest Alpine dealer for more information about this dash cam. It's definitely a keeper for me. Have a great rest of your day, and tune in next time for what's new.